my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay calm.
everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Wait.
Everybody calm down!
Help!
Here.
Oh.
Take my hand.
Ah!
Come on. You're gonna fall unless you take my hand.
No, give me your other hand.
Oh, my other hand isn't strong enough. You take my little hand.
No! Get it away from me!
Take it. Take my hand.
Guess what? We took everything you love about the Bloomin' Onion and created a menu you've never seen before.
Let me hear you say, Bloom that ass. Bloom that ass.
This bloomified menu starts at $13.99 and it's gonna blow your bloomin' mind.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. How are you? A little late this morning. God, I slept like a baby. I just didn't want to get up. But it's okay. I can continue working today because it is Anzac Day. For all of you who don't know, that is the Australia-New Zealand Army Corps. So today we celebrate and remember those that are fallen from Australia, New Zealand. What is up, the chat? Great to have you here. I've got my tea, first of the morning, although it is quite late. It's 9:20. I normally start these at like 8, maybe even earlier. But yeah, slow days these days, I tell you what. I hope you are well on this fine whatever the hell day it is where you are. We got Mark sliding in first. You know what that means. I'm going to put him up here. Over here, like Sue. Congratulations, Mark. Who else we got in here? We've got Jolly. He says, bring on Rob hating things. That is taking on a life of its own, and I knew it would. See, I just don't have that in me to hate. I don't have hate in my heart, but Rob does. And, you know, he brings that hate factor that I can't bring to my own show. And, you know, it's like the yin and the yang. Exactly like Jake said the other day. So yeah, Rob will be back hating things on American Sunday, our Monday, hating random stuff that I find. Well, I think it's cool. I try to show him things that I think are cool that he hates. But, you know, it is what it is. We have, who else do we have in here? We've got Maromi. What's up, Maromi? We've got Raiden Radio. Just getting ready with his Eudaimonia 3 on the way. What's the other one? Harlem. Nualem. Thinking Harlem Nights for some reason. I'm like, that ain't right. That ain't it. Really good book. Both of them. Fantastic books, actually. I wonder, that shouldn't be too far off either. We have the legendary Mr. Felix Huss, the Link Master. I don't think Mo is here today, Felix. This is his day off. I went a little bit late. I had to get up early to catch the Mo worm on a Friday, and I failed to today. So it is what it is. But always great to have you here. The legendary Forward. Thank you, Mark. Yes, Shadowpunk. Bancroft is the monolith or the caveman, on both in one. What's up, Henry Beamuth? Thus spake Forward Thustra. Oi, don't look it. I don't like it. That would be, can you imagine writing a whole novel in Aussie speak? They did that with, what's it called? Trainspotting. They wrote the whole thing as if you're a Scottish person. By the end of it, my Scottish accent was perfect. I've forgotten it. Yeah, my favorite one was the one with the big satellite dish. Got trashed by everyone. I loved that one, Jav. And she does a whole... See, at first I thought it was AI. And I was like, because, you know, it's so intricate. I'm like, oh, it's probably just AI. Maybe she drew the front person and the back. No, she's got similar work going back years. I agreed. I thought, that's why I put up the back. I thought, this one's a pure banger. Everyone's going to love it. Everyone hated it. It was a flood of nexts. And Rob hated it from the get-go. Weird. Harlem Nights is the true story of Black Justice. Sounds like it. What's up, Jaro? Respect to those brave Aussies and Kiwis who fought at Gallipoli, absolutely. And continue to this day. Although our military got a bit woke for a while there. I think they're turning it around, but I don't know. We've got an election coming up, and it could go either way. But we'll see. We will see. I have a bunch of pages here, and I thought I would do the same thing that I've been doing the last couple of weeks, just do the highlights. But I think I might do the shadows, because that way I can go through a bunch of different pages, because the shadows don't take as long. And the shadows is really just putting form onto whatever's on the page. You don't really have to worry as much about the light source, but yeah. Look at the size of that boy's head, says Mark. It was so funny when I when I scripted these pages to Rod. I said these are like British, you know, I guess naughty boys. And I guess, you know, being from Brazil, he didn't really know. I guess, you know, what all that looked like. It's very, the selection here looks to me like a selection of American and South American. Like, these guys look Latina. But it's all good. It doesn't matter, because it's all in a dream. So it can be exactly what it needs to be. This is Rod Lupa's artwork. It does look fantastic. And just wait until I put my spin on it as well. He was sore about how great that art was. Yeah, I know, right? It's weird. But then on Twitter, everyone is appreciating Rob's forthrightness. And, you know, what was Michael Deitcher was like, Rob is teaching me how to hate again. And he's appreciating him for it. It's like a cult is forming here. Great to have you here, Cranberry, and Shadowpunk as well. So yeah, to do the shadows, pretty much basically, it's just usually I use the lasso tool. Lasso. I give up on that word. And yeah, so like any place where there is kind of a plane, what do you call it? Shift, like an angle, whatever it is. I will get in there and essentially just darken it up. Give it a little bit of something, you know. American is lasso. No, I think it's lasso everywhere. It's just I get confused. That's all. It's nothing, you know, more interesting than that. But is it Ted Lasso or is it Ted Lasso? I can't remember. Not there because they're lights. There really isn't that much to it. You know, on certain pages, you really don't have to do much. Depending on, you know, how angular the items are. Probably not going to do anything there. Yeah, so I'm saying, like, I can get through this pretty quickly. And then I just basically go in and darken that up. Give a bit of a something to it. Ted Lasso, yeah. So where do they get lasso from? It's probably just something that happened in my youth, where I don't know. Sometimes you read things wrong, or I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just this word that always tricks me up in my brain, like similarly, which doesn't sound right, but apparently is. Now I'm gonna probably, the light source is sometimes you don't have to think about the light source. The light source is coming in from here and here. There'll be a little bit from here, but that won't affect the back wall. So I will do that as well. A chick shows up to a dog fight, says Felix Huss. Yep. All men shit their pants. Something not right about that. Exactly. Oh, they don't shit their pants at the start. They laugh at her. That is weird, isn't it? Almost like you would say highly unrealistic. And that's kind of the plot of Fractured Mind. It's about getting Ella to stop playing make-believe and start getting real. All right. Get the old... Ah! What did I do? Damn it. I pressed F. Never press F. That will ruin everything. Hold on a sec. Let's get back here. All right, there we go. We're back. Never press F. That'll screw everything up. Why is it got to be a brown and black dog fight? Well, make of that what you will. Trash fighting dogs. Shameful. Similarly. Yeah. I think they need to relook at that word. It doesn't flow right. It doesn't feel right. What was I doing here? Oh, yeah. I meant to press G and I pressed F and the whole thing just went out. You don't want to do that. Okay, that's too much. We want a nice, pleasant gradient. A little bit more. Alrighty, that'll do. Now, do I still have this here? Do. Excellent, eh? Probably should do the gradient first, by the looks of it. Well, in Aussie land, that would be Seamalay. Yeah, that's right. Hello, Phil. I will be hanging out with Phil later today because, as we know, Jake and Rini, are they in Japan? Is that what is happening? They ran off to Japan together to sell comic books. Unbelievable. Anyway, yeah, Phil needed a ringer. So who's the first guy he came to? I assume, I don't know. He's like, oh, I know. Get on the blower and call up Mike. So yeah, we will be over on Phil's tonight. Me and Pear. I don't know. He might have someone else as well. There might be a foursome, but Henry Beeman's got Psycho Slumber. Yeah, Psycho Slumber might put my box of comics at RJ's over the limit to send. So yeah, that could be good. They went off on a world tour and they didn't think to invite anyone else. Bastards. I think we're going to be talking about the 12. What is it? Jake. I don't know if you guys know who Jake Parker is. It's kind of a big deal. He put out a video called the 12. I don't know what the 12 rules of something. Anyway, making comics. It's a good video. All right, what was I doing? Got distracted, and yeah. I haven't decided whether I want to use the brush on these plain parts. I think I do, because otherwise the gradient can get a bit, I don't know, get a bit plain. But what ends up happening is I start off with the brush, and then I end up changing it anyway. I've got to put it on friggin' 16-bit, otherwise it's going to look weird. Because at the moment, without any light on it, it starts to look muddy. And yeah, I don't like that. I might go the opposite direction. I end up just blurring it anyway later on when I don't like it, but I don't know, we'll see. It's the mounted shell bean. What is? Ollie's here to supervise my coloring. Did you see my finished one from last week, Ollie? With her jumping, kind of leaping, arching back over the city. I was quite proud of that. I thought you would like that. I thought you would appreciate that. A foursome. Well, I don't know. So far, I know it's Phil, Pear, and myself, but I don't know. There could be someone else. Yo, Phil, check out this photo. Let's have a look. Mark is sharing a photo link. Oh my God. Oh my God. How do I share this? It's taking over the world. Where is it? So this is Mark's. How do I? There we go. That's Mark's shell bean, and I'm guessing you made the little stand to go on it. Who wouldn't want that in their house staring at them? You know? Perfect. Show me the page, Bancroft. Okay, one sec. Well, while I'm here, let's do it. I go to X. I have it pinned right here. There. So that's first page, opening page of Fractured Mind. We have Ella leaping backwards from a high place down. And the next page is lands on a building and continues running. And yeah, employed some new techniques that I don't normally use here. So I just try some new things here. You can see very subtle though. Like there's like in the highlights themselves, I've got some color gradation. Jake put me onto that, and I thought that's a cool technique. So I started implementing that. Also using a bit more of the glow effect to bleed over, which I thought was nice, and using the different glows to create these colors here. So I think it came out well. Very happy with it. How many people we got in here? 19. If we get up to, say, 25 people in here, I also have something else I want to show off. But I can wait. I don't need to share it right now. But I can if we get enough people in here. So I hope Oliver likes it. Everyone is saying the shell bean is majestic. It looks regal. He says, ooh, snap. I could see people finding that in 2,000 years from now and worshipping it, the shell bean. I don't know. Do you reckon the plastic on the shell bean will last thousands of years? I don't even know. What is the shelf life on that? I mean, usually they say plastic takes, 10,000 years or so to friggin' break down. So maybe it will. Maybe it will outlast us all. No one wants to see that, Mike. See what? Oh, is it big? No, it is. It is something pretty cool. It actually really is. It will last a millennia and more. What are you trying to expose us to, Bancroft? No, trust me, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I've got it right here, ready and waiting, ready to burst out. With the stand, that's just under 2 feet tall. Yeah, was that the jumbo? Was that the jumbo bean? Is that the big bean? Because it looks pretty big to me. I mean, I guess, yeah, because they only make ones that are either this big or the massive ones. So, when you got it, Mark, did you hold it up like this? Oh. That's what I would have done. Definitely. Yeah, the big bean. I thought about getting the big bean or a bean, but then I just kind of moved on with my life. But maybe I was wrong. Maybe I should. It does seem to be all the rage. That's wrong. I have the regular size banana bean that I won. All right, the little yellow one. Yeah, I didn't win anything. The bigulated bean, the embiggened bean. I like that embiggened is an actual word in the dictionary now from The Simpsons. You guys know that? You know what they need to make? They need to make a foam bean so that you can, squish it, just much like their this thing. Although this one isn't that squishy, but it's a bit big. The bean fits right into your hand. We got Mike McMahon in the house. What's up? We got K-pop. She went to get food. So say hi. All right. I never put shadows on figures ever. Maybe not really, never, very rarely. Sometimes on the bottom of their shoes if I need to. But other than that, I want them to sort of separate out from the background. Really, I only use shadows for depth and sort of three-dimensionality. That's it. So it's usually quite a pretty quick process for me. And it is amazing how much depth you can get from just slightly changing the values on these things. Jeff says, I won the white one with a certificate of authenticity printed on thermal paper that will probably only last a few years tops. Yeah, that thermal paper is like for, labels. All right. Now, question. The light. Is it coming from the top or the front? Tricky question. I think I might have it from the top. And then I can do this one as well. And have it be the same. Rick says, check your ex. I sent pics of my bean. All right, let me finish this, and I will do that, Rick. What am I doing here? Doing the wrong thing. All right, let's go. Let's go check out Rick's beans. Are they quality beans? I mean, they look good, but things can be deceiving. The beans. All right. Hold on a sec. I don't like showing DMs, but I'll show you DM images. That's fine. All right, here we go. Ready? These are Rick Saylor's beans. So artistic too. Fantastic lighting. My goodness. So there we've got the embiggened, bigulated bean with an array of the, what would you call these, regular beans? I like this pearlescent bean. That's very fancy. This black one here looks demonic. And then we have this enormous Galactus. I mean, I can't even imagine how big this thing must be. That's the big bean, and he's holding the other beans in his hands, which is an appropriate use, I think, of the beans. What a waste of plastic. What else? What else? You're going to use it. Infinity beans. I know, right? It is kind of scary. The bigulated bean was an eye opener when I opened it. Was it a lot bigger than you thought it was? Come check out. Come on, come home and check out my beans. hate how you have to stop screen now to present again. It's so dumb. Why would StreamYards do that? Camel says, Ella saying, hey boys, who wants to loot my crate? Yes. Why? Why is she breaking up this party? Ella's just want to have fun. She wants to come in and friggin' start trouble. Thankfully, she gets checked on it very quickly. Rick says, yes, it was. A rather large bean to receive. Imagine if, someone questioned you on it. Like, what is this? Then you had to explain to them what the shell bean is in a real life setting. Why is Ella hanging out at warehouses? Well, look, she was Daredevil style jumping through the city, doing her thing. And then she spies some potential shenanigans going on. And she sees it's a dogfight, of which she cannot countenance. You know how girls are. They don't like cruelty to animals. So she feels like she must intervene. And she jumps down there and pretty much just starts shit, These guys are like, at first they're like, oh, what the hell? And then they see who it is and they just laugh at her, which is what would happen. I didn't know Rob used the chain brush too. All hand drawn. Maybe. No, it is. It is because he did the what was he doing at this point? I think he was doing I think for the whole book pretty much. Maybe just a couple that were tricky. He didn't, but I think for the whole book he did digital pencils and then traditional inks. That's how he did it because he wants to sell the old originals. She has sold some of. She loves construction sites apparently. Well, this is actually a specific place that we will discover towards the end of the book that does have actual significance. It's not just a random place that she's stumbled upon here. So Fractured Mind is all about her inner psychology and how it plays out in her dreams, and she I guess you would say she kind of role plays. Is like she pretends it's like Fortnite. At least at this stage in her life. We got Jim Alaska in the house. We got Sim here too. What's up, fellas? Great to have you here. We're still sitting on 19 people watching. If we get to 25, I shall reveal something very cool I have on my desk. Something I received yesterday. I was worried was I going to have everything ready in time for the launch? Because I think I'm going to have 5 pages fully colored and then the 2 covers, Rod's and mine. But I was able to knock out that splash page in a day. And I'm got a lot of the groundwork done on the other 5. So what really is taking me time is I'm kind of trying to, do something a bit elevated, a bit, cool. And I don't quite know exactly how it's all going to work just yet. But that's sort of, once I figure that out, I think these pages, I'm just going to be able to crank them out. So hopefully at least. What's up, Doc? Was having fun over on DG's channel yesterday. Doc was over there shooting the shit. Well, I was just in the chat. Yeah, see, like I said, I really don't do much in terms of shadows because I want the shadows to be implied with the inks essentially on the characters. That's how I see it anyway. Otherwise, yeah, because the black and white looks so good. I don't want, you run into the risk of taking away from that. The colors are supposed to, elevate the line art, not completely change it. We were looking at that yesterday on that friggin' Wolverine piece. That the line art was amazing, and then the colors were just, they changed the entire vibe of the whole piece of art. I keep forgetting I have to change to 16-bit. Sim says he's working on the colors of the last 4 pages of Hellzone. Then it's working on dialogues and finishing the lettering. Are you like me? You work on the dialogue all the way to the bitter end? Like literally, as you're doing pre-press, you're changing dialogue? I was still changing dialogue right up to the very end but right before sending Painted Death to print. A word here, a word there. Doc says, I'm on the black and white grayscale thing right now. It might be a phase. Who knows? Yeah, when I see a really good black and white, I really do like it a lot more than I ever did. And I don't know why. I guess it's just, but I love colors. I do. I really do. But I guess for me, the black and white, to make black and white look good by itself is that's a big skill that is very difficult. And I think it takes a long time to figure that out. I never had it. I think I'm starting to get there. you know, maybe by the time the Emma Crown comes out, you know, maybe I'll be there, but I don't know. Camel, tell me this. Why do indie comics take so long? You and Rob have been working on this for years, but mainstream books look like this and come out monthly. I would say, mainly for me, my excuse is, you know, I've had this book, that is true. I've had this book in the works for years, but I mean, I have really only just started working on it. Rod's been doing it in bits and pieces, you know, as I could afford him to do it. I think mostly a lot of the time, indie comics, it's because people have day jobs. They have other commitments. And also in the mainstream, you'll have one guy just doing one thing, you know? So you'll have this guy's the penciler, this guy's the inker, this guy's the colorist. And I did a short on this just the other day, that when you jump from task to task, it can slow you down like crazy. And that's actually that Jake Parker guy was talking about it that we were talking about earlier. We're going to be talking about on the Creative Block. And he said he looked into the neurology of it and whatever it is, the science. And he said, yeah, it can actually slow down productivity by 40% when you switch from, say, you know, doing thumbnails to doing the pencils, to do the inks, the colors, whatever, because it's a whole different mindset. It's a whole different mode of thinking. It's a whole different thing. So people who like to say they've got that, to say they get a Sunday to work on a book, like every other day, they've got family stuff, they've got day job stuff. So like, but Sunday is my comic book day. And then they're like, today I'm going to do a page. So they sit down, they thumbnail it, then they start penciling, then they ink, and then they color. They are really killing their productivity doing that. Much better idea to say, okay, today I'm going to be doing thumbnails, or today I'm just inking, or today I'm just, I don't know, doing flats, or whatever it is. And I have found that to be so true, because exactly like Cranberry says, getting in the zone, getting in the flow, like that is the place you need to be in, because that's where you're like crazy productive, and you're not even real, like you just put some music on or whatever in the background, and that, you know, hours can go by because you're just in this one mode of thinking and you're just going. And yeah, it's crazy how much you can get done. And, you know, I think the way, if you've got a team who are full-time, they're doing that every day for hours a day. And yeah, I can imagine things would come out quick. I don't quite have that luxury. Camel says, yeah, I do everything: writing, penciling, inks, color, lettering, pre-press, and I found it takes a full week per fully finished page. So essentially half a year for a 24-page book. Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, also there's just some, like, you can watch some people, like I suggest everyone go watch Dave Raposa. Also watch David Finch. If he's, I don't know if he's still doing streams. I know he was for a while. And those guys are actually literally fast with the art. I mean, it is crazy with the actual pen, and they are just, it's like it's already pre-drawn and they're just, their hand is being taken around. I think when I go back and watch my unsped up time lapses, I mean, it's quite a slow, deliberate process. And I think that's just experience and skill. I mean, there's nothing else to it. It's just those guys are practiced at being fast. I remember NASA once, Nasser Abadi was saying there's no such thing as a slow artist. You know, it's just people aren't working on their books. And I was like, no, there really are. You can watch people who take their time. and it's got nothing to do with the quality of the outcome of the art. It's some people are just actually literally like slower, and some people are faster, and because they've worked on that. Like, what's a Burn? Like, he was doing multiple books a month at his height, you know. Camel says, yeah, but he's an idiot. Well, I said, yeah, I was like, dude, I mean, he's not an artist. So I was like, dude. And now, granted, there are people who aren't working on their books. That is true. That is a thing. I'm not saying that's not a thing. But no, they're like, when people say, yeah, this can take weeks, I 100% absolutely understand what they're saying. Cranberry puts it as, you don't build a house all at once. First, you do the foundation. And that my recent short was sort of about this, where if I batch tasks together, I mean, I can get so much more productive. It's not quite doubling in speed, but just by batching things together like that, it can get close to being twice as fast, which is huge. You know, that's really where you want to be. Camel's like, no, I build the roof first, so I have cover while I pour the foundation. You're an iconoclast. I don't know what this thing is that I'm currently shading here, but you know, it's something. Random object. Everyone knows you build the man cave first, says Doc. So you have a place to chill while you build, or while others build. And Cranberry says, yeah, that might actually work, especially in Australia where everything is upside down. Those are called random interesting objects. I learned that from a penciler I worked with in the 90s. Yeah, Eric Canetti talks about them as well. I can't remember what it was from. Some stream he was hanging out on while he was working on one of the earlier books of Arc Athena. And, you know, someone asked him about all the kind of mechanical things he was doing. It's like, is he working off anything? And he's like, oh no, it's all completely just made up on the spot, like muscle memory. You don't even think about what you want it to look like in the end. You just go. You just draw random mechanical looking stuff. And that always made me chuckle. and it looked great at the end. You know, he was just going for it. It was just like, oh yeah, you're not supposed to actually look at it. You just see it sort of in your peripheral, and then you know you're like, oh yeah, that's equipment, and you know the illusion is sold. Kirby was the king of the Rio stuff. Oh yeah, he was like, they were like doodles, you know, when you were a kid, just doodling on a pad, and you were just lines were going anywhere. Very much like that, exactly. Ellie says, right now I'm playing Debussy while watching Bancroft. We all know Bancroft loves Debussy. I do actually. Last night I was actually listening to. I listened to a series of videos called "The Evolution of," and it was certain classical composers. So Bach, Mozart, Beethoven, Chopin, and Tchaikovsky. And so because that's sort of in time, I got to hear the progression of, you know, this style of music and how complex and subtle it ended up getting. And yeah, Debussy is Debussy. I don't know how to say his name. He's on the, you know, he is the inheritor of that legacy. Don't know. Maybe a little bit here. Tank Ferret in the house. What's up, Tank? Just a very subtle. Ooh, that's not right. Subtle one here. Ah. Didn't mean to do that. All right, we're back over 20. What did I say? 25? So only 4 more watching, and I will reveal my secret package to you all that I received yesterday. They found out why Beethoven was deaf. Oh, that was interesting because, yeah, in the video, it actually, as it goes through his pieces, it was saying like when he was fully, he could hear, and then when he could start to go deaf, and then he was partially deaf, and then he was fully deaf, and it was early. He was mostly deaf when he did his most famous stuff, or fully deaf. They put lead acetate in his favorite wine to sweeten it. He suffered great towards the end of his life, but still produced the most beautiful music. Yeah, he was fully deaf when the Ninth Symphony was composed, which is the whole time just sitting there thinking, how? Well, so when he did the famous Moonlight Sonata, he was partially deaf when he started it, and then by the third movement, he was pretty much fully deaf. And anyone who knows those 3 movements are quite different to each other. Although some people will say that has to do with who was writing it for. Had a falling out, as it were. Oh no, he's going to show us his package. I am, but only if we get 3 more watching. And then I will show you what I've received. I'm going to show you what I got. And you're going to sit there and like it. And there's nothing any of you can do about it. Except if you all just leave. Then, yeah, I guess that'd probably shut me up real quick. But you don't want to leave. It's good. It's a good thing. Trust me. I mean, I hope it is. It's not Bancroft's bean. I promise. I don't. That would be hilarious. Can you imagine if I came out with a 3D printed bean from the ether? That would actually be quite funny. The ether meme is so good because it just allows me to steal from everyone, and then I just get to laugh it off as a meme and say, "Ah, it's from the ether." It's the perfect crime. Shelby is a human being. I am not an animal. Yeah, I don't know if I would be a bean per se. Maybe a pineapple. Maybe a mango. Everyone was discussing the odd shape of my head yesterday, which is always appreciated. Yeah, probably more a mango than a bean. Actually, I don't really, in real life, I don't actually like beans all that much. Come to think of it. I can't eat beans. Uh-oh. We're losing people. I'm being too quiet. Not keeping up an interesting conversation. Oh, I'll just have to show tomorrow. It's fine. Camel started a nice conversation, then he just bounced. I don't really have anything other to add to it. Why do comic books take so long to make? For some, and not for others. The eternal question. Is it just quality? Is it effort? I'm here. I'm just waiting to see your package. I don't know. See, now I'm worried I might disappoint people. I don't know what's in it necessarily. Doc's got a bounce. He says it's looking good though. Thank you. Yeah. I must admit, I was actually a little worried starting this. Like I said, I always worry about taking away from the actual line art when I do colors. It's first and foremost on my mind. But after that first page, I feel like, very limited palette, really thinking about values. and just some cool effects, kind of like the Kelsey Shannon method. And yeah, probably can't go wrong. But and this stuff isn't as interesting, but it's got to be done. We got Buzz in the house. All right, we're back up to 22. 3 more to go. Share it out, like the stream. Maybe it'll share it with some more people. You never know. And then I shall reveal all. I think your coloring is coming along fantastically, Bancroft. Thank you, Cramblangers. Yeah, it is something I am quite proud of, especially considering where I started from when I was just like really didn't know all that much what I was doing. Actually, that's a conversation that I had with another regular in the chat in DMs, and he was just sort of lamenting the state of coloring in comic books in general. But especially in the indies and crowdfunding, where you're going to have, you know, a lot of amateurs. But even in the professional, like, there's a taste element to it. People have different, people like different things. We can see that with Rob Arnold. But yeah, it is true. And ask anyone who's actually tried to hire a colorist before how difficult it can be to find someone who can do what you're looking for. Because a lot of the best colorists are actually just artists who don't like doing the colors because it takes so long to do. And then they just, like, Shelby is one of them. Shelby is a fantastic colorist who hates colors, hates doing it. Bancroft, you've been grinding XP and leveling up, or as Risey would say. Yeah, I'm just out there killing boar, just getting that XP. I have actually been, you know, I think ever since I started doing sort of more art-related content, I get recommended a lot more art-related content, and yeah, you do just pick things up as you go. You learn, you know, keep learning along the way. And I think, self-aware enough to know that I hardly know anything at all of everything that there is to know. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Yeah, so just the other day, Jake was saying, oh, you got to check out this gradient map thing. And I did, and it's awesome, but it's really more for people who are kind of brushing in their colors, and I'm not really doing that. I tried to get away from that as much as I can because it's just so time consuming. And if you're doing everything, you really got to be economical. But I was able to kind of take what he showed me and, you know, figure out a way to integrate it with the integrate the look, at least, not the actual method, with my cut and grad technique. So yeah, picking up little hopefully not picking up ticks, picking up tips and tricks along the way. What you don't want is an inker suddenly turn colorist after printing an entire run in black and white. Oof. Yeah, especially on what is ostensibly sold as a professional book, you know? Yeah, that was coloring isn't just something. First of all, coloring isn't something that you can just pick up and do. It is probably, of all the things, the most what's the word? Like, you need to know programs. Says that. Oh, yeah. You need to know the programs. You need to know the all the tools, and there's, I mean, between whatever program you're using, there's potentially thousands of methods that you could combine things to get the final effect. So all that's like technical stuff. And when I say technical, I don't mean in terms of, you know, technical inking and stuff. I mean like technical in terms of the actual application of the task. On top of that, you've got to be a problem solver, because every page, every scene, every instance is going to be different slightly, and you're going to have to figure it out in your head. So you better be good at problem solving. And then on top of all of that, and you guys are already saying it, color theory. And that is the X factor. That is, you can teach color theory, but whether or not the person will absorb it and then be able to apply it is the complete unknown. It really is. I call it the eye. And to me, in my experience in life, dealing with people, being a graphic designer and then doing art stuff, you either have the eye or you don't. And you can teach someone for years the techniques and everything, but unless they have the eye to see it, it's just, they're never going to actually get as good as they should be, essentially. That's just my experience. Yeah, you also need to know basic color theory and the difference between local color, yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, so like I said, it's not just something you're going to pick up and do, you know, on the go. On top of that, like, people are also colorblind. That's a real thing, you know. Some people literally can't see what you're talking about in terms of subtle differences and things like that. And I definitely think there are some people who are coloring comics who are colorblind to some palettes. You know, you could be blue colorblind or red colorblind or whatever, which is why often a lot of the times their colors tend towards a certain way. So you can actually go on to websites. There's a bloody ant again. Get out of here. You can actually go on to websites and check your color acuity, which I have done, which I continue to do. You should do it, especially if you work in the industry like I do. I do color correcting for a living. So yeah, I need to know this stuff. So you can go and get it checked, and I have always scored a perfect score. Stop kissing the ants like that. I was blowing it off my keyboard. Then there's just basic, stylistic choices. You know, what do you want to do with the color? Because you've got Daniel Warren Johnson is completely different to Brad Anderson, and to me, in my mind, equally awesome and professional, completely divergent in stylistic choice. So yeah, again, it's, well, I mean, if you think about it, imagine you hadn't really ever drawn anything before, and then you thought, oh, I'm just gonna draw a comic, you know, and you hadn't really had any drawing experience at all. That would be a very difficult task with a high likelihood of not working out. And it's the same with coloring. It is a profession. It's an art, it's a science, all wrapped in one. I at least had color perception. Well, you know, I guess it doesn't matter if you're not trying to be a colorist. But having said all that, I know some people are just good at stuff. You know, who knows? It took me, I think, a good 8 months to sort of set myself on the right path and go, okay, I can start now and have it actually be passable. And then, you know, since then, it's been, 5 years of just slowly, incrementally getting better. It takes time. What color am I holding up right now, Bancroft? I would say you're holding up Mocha Mousse, which was last year's Pantone color of the year. I watched a video yesterday. This is funny. I watched a video yesterday on Pantone and how, you know, it came about in the 50s, I think, and how it's just like industry standard, and they're kind of you know, if you want to be in any industry that deals with printers and Pantones, you just basically have to play by their rules, and you get no choice in the matter. But it was interesting to sort of see the inside of it. You know, this thing that I use every day, and I never really thought all that much about it. Mocha Mousse. Yes, exactly. Mocha Mousse. It is, I tell you, it is hard to do a stream without Mo in the chat. It really is. And don't anyone repeat that. It is difficult. I think I did all the shadows. On how many pages you got? 5 here? 4, 5, whatever. Which I think is a pretty good start. And we didn't get to 25. In fact, we're down to 14. Screw it. I'm just going to show you anyway. Mo is the best of us. That is correct. All right. Get a drum roll out. Thank you. This is actually to reward all the loyal, awesome people who stuck around in the chat. What have I got here? Got a knife. Do I show you? All right, here we go. Drum roll. Okay. You don't need to. Thank you very much. So, I mean, you're like, oh, everyone's already got this. No, I think this is a special one. This is something special from Arvid, who sent these out for people who helped him promote or whatever, gave him whatever, throughout the campaign. I'm just going to try and... I got the exact wrong knife for this. I'm cutting apart the cardboard. There we go. All right. I have not opened it. I just opened the thing there. So... Oh. All right, what do we have in here? Oh my goodness. Yeah, everyone's raving about this gold foil. So look at that. That is very fancy. I'm going to need to do that on my trading cards. I'm going to do that next. Get some gold on there. Very fancy. Oh, and he sent me a nice... He called me a legend on the back, which is very Aussie. Band of the Crow sticker. And... I actually hadn't gotten the maybe this is just a package. Hold on a sec. Maybe this is just a package. It could be. Might be getting the gold one. No, it is in there. It is in there. Look, okay, so here we go. There is Band of the Crow Oren cover. Actually, maybe they're all Oren. I don't know, actually. Look at this one. Have I seen that one before? Beautiful. And that one is that's the Monkey Island one, yeah? The Monkey Island tribute. And this one is the one I wasn't sure of. I thought it might be Dungeons and Dragons, but I think it was something else. I'm going to get this one out because it's very special. Look at that. Woo! It's all raised. Beautiful. Very nice. Let's show off a page in this. Very cool to see it actually printed because up until now I'd only seen it in the digital. Now I think they're launching the full book campaign in May, I believe. So I don't know exactly how long that is, but this was sort of like the opening act. This one. That art is just insane. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you very much, Arvid. I will keep that one safe and sound in my Band of the Crow box with all my goodies. So, yeah, beautiful book. And it's oversized, too. I didn't even point that out. Check it out, what the difference is. Where have I got the book here? Here we go. So that's regular size. And so it's like, yeah, you get a bit more on the side there and a little bit on top. Excellent, excellent. I have 3 of the 4. Never seen the other one. Yeah, neither have I. Where was it again? Let's get that out. I didn't. Maybe it wasn't available. It's like a special one. I don't know. Maybe it was on Fund My Comic. I don't know. This one. Yeah. It must be these are so 80s, you know, or 70s or something. 80s probably. Probably undoubtedly inspired by something. So yeah, awesome. All right. Yeah, I don't know if I'm special. I mean, I know I'm special because I got the gold one. So, yeah. What's up, Rod? We got the man himself in the house. Rod, I've just been doing some shadows on a bunch of pages. This is really just for me. It's kind of like getting ready to color a page. So it's kind of easy stuff. Next, after this, I'll do the palette. Because at the moment it looks a bit like a dog's breakfast with all the colors, but I will homogenize up the palette and start getting the where I need that to be. And yeah, I could actually even get all that finished for these 5 pages today, maybe if I do it all at once. But exciting stuff. Not long to go until this goes live. Everybody, please do sign up over at thelucentcomic.com. Get ready. Preparing the awesomeness, says Rod. And now a lot of these pages have been sold, but there are so many more. And oh my goodness, they're so good. So they will be available in due time. Oh, and Felix says, please subscribe to Crowfire Studios YouTube channel on that link. Thank you. And subscribe to Rod Looper. Rod, are you still doing regular videos? I don't know if I've seen one in a while. You might be busy with other things. I will be on Creative Block. When's that? In a few hours, I think. Maybe 4 hours over on Phil's tonight. So I know Pear's going to be there. And obviously Phil's going to be there. I don't know if anyone else is going to be there, but I'll be there, and I hope to see you there too. All right, that's it for me. I'm going to go grab some breakfast maybe, and then I'm just going to get back to work. All right, guys. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll have another show. All right, bye.
Perth made an Australian video, and I wasn't even in it.
Emotional damage.